And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at My Little Scythe. Now, a year ago, this was mentioned to me that this might exist, and I kind of scoffed at it at the time. They were talking about combining My Little Pony with Scythe. I did not believe such a thing would happen, but it has. My Little Scythe was designed by a parent and child based on Scythe, an incredibly popular game from Stonemaier Games. So they've taken that. This is not necessarily Scythe redesigned for younger, although it has that kind of feel to it. It's based on the mechanism of the Scythe, but in this one, you're going to control a couple of animals who are going out to bring glory to their kingdom. They're seekers, going to seek fame and friendship and all sorts of things with some really beautiful components. Does it play well? Let's look. Each player is going to get two seekers. These animal guys that are going to be going out on the board. You're going to have a base camp, and the base camps are going to be set up for a number of players. This is set up for 6 players here. There's another 7th player here that comes with the game, and you have these two seekers. You're going to use this tile here kind of to randomly put out some starting resources on the board. You'll see there's gems and apples and places to get quests. Each player is also going to start with a certain number of friendship, 3, and a certain number of pies. They also have a magic spell card, which will give them a certain extra amount of pies if they ever get into a pie fight. Now, the goal of this game is up here in the top right corner. Here, you're going to be putting your trophies. The first person to get down all 4 of their trophies is going to win the game. And so there are various ways to get trophies. If you ever get your pies up to 8, you can get a trophy. If you ever get your friendship up to 8, you get a trophy. If you can ever pick up 4 apples and deliver them here to the castle in the middle, you get a trophy. If you deliver 4 gems to the castle, you get a trophy. If you win a pie fight, you get a trophy. If you get 3 of these magic spell cards, you get a trophy. If you complete 2 quests, you'll get a trophy. And if you, that's it. Those are the different ways to get trophies. So, how do you go about doing that? Each player has a player board. On it, you'll put your trophies, and this is where they'll stay until you place them on the board. And then each player also has this little marker here. On your turn, you're going to pick an action to take from these actions that are on the board. If your thing is already on an action, though, you can't do that next time. You have to move it to another one. So what do these actions allow you to do? This one allows you to move. You can move one of your seekers up to 2 spaces. Or each of your seekers up to 2 spaces. If they're carrying stuff, though, if you go to a spot where there is something and you want to move with it, you can only move 1. But you can go around and try to move these different items to different spots. If you land on a quest, you'll draw a quest card. Now, a quest card usually gives you a couple options. Here, if I have 2 gems, I can pay them to add 3 apples or gems to any space where nobody is. If I do so, I'll complete this quest. Or I can trick. A player of my choice has to give me 2 of their apples and gems. But if I do that, I will lose 1 friendship, so I have to be careful. And you cannot get any trophies if your friendship is below 3, so you don't want to lose too much friendship. Or I can just say, no thanks, I don't want to do either one of those things. I don't get to finish the quest, but I get an apple or gem, and I just put this in the bottom of the quest pile. So that's what quests do when you land on them. Another action you can take, other than moving, is you can add more things to the board. That's seek. You can roll 2 reds, a blue, and a yellow, or 2 blues, a red, and a yellow. That's what these dice here are for. Now, adding reds is going to add apple to the board, adding blues are going to add gems to the board, and adding yellows is going to add a quest to the board. So once you roll the dice, you're going to look at the colors rolled. So this apple needs to be added to the yellow area. If I rolled this, it would be needed to add to the white area. So I just add these to that spot. If I add an apple and I put it, or a gem or whatever, and I put them in a spot where there's an enemy seeker or a seeker from another player, I'm being a friend and I go up a friendship. You don't do that if you add it to your own spot, but you can. Quests have to go where nobody is. So the game kind of encourages you to help other players because, hey, that moves you up on the friendship track. And that's what Seek does. Now Make lets you change 2 apples into pies. You'll go up on the pie track. You can change 2 gems and get a spell card. Or you can change 1 of each to upgrade. When you upgrade, you'll draw 3 tiles from one of these stacks. And you're going to pick one, and it's going to change your move and basically make your move a little bit better. Like here, I can move resources from one of my seekers to another. Here, for one of my moves, I can move to any space that has 2 resources. Or here, I can move one of my guys directly to the castle to complete a delivery. So these are all pretty neat. They upgrade the move. Or I might decide that I might want to upgrade the make. So here, I can now steal, I have a new spot where I can take a random spell from another player. Here, I spend 2 gems and I get a card and a friendship. And here, I can spend gems or apples to make pies, or gems or apples to make spells. So that's kind of a neat way to upgrade your things, your actions that you can take. Now, if you move into a spot with another person, you can start a pie fight. Now, starting a pie fight will reduce your friendship, so you have to be careful about that. But when you have a pie fight, each of the players is going to take a wheel here, and you're going to spend a certain number of pies. You can also, if you want to, spend a spell like this. Now, you can only spend as many pies as you have, and whatever pies you use are going to be spent. You'll reveal, and whoever spent the most pies is going to win the fight. The other person is sent back home. You also get sent back home if you make a successful delivery. And at home you get a couple bonuses. You get to draw a spell and stuff for going back home. And the winner of the pie fight gets to put a trophy out there. So you're not going to see a lot of pie fights over the course of the game, but they may happen as time goes by. That's pretty much all the rules. You're just going to keep going around and around and around till someone has gotten their 4 trophies on the board, and that person is the winner. Now, the board itself is really nicely done. It looks great. I'm going to show you the one slightly negative thing about the board, and that's these dice. These dice are great dice, by the way, but it's not always easy to see the colors or know what region the colors are next to the board. I have really good lighting in this room, but in lower lighting, that's a little more difficult. The gems and the apples and the quests, those are all nice. The miniatures are amazing. They're little animals here. Let me show you some of them. And man, they just look fantastic. And in fact, they're so fantastic that the game actually comes with a painting guide and shows you how to color them if you so desire, and also tells you a little bit about each of them so you can learn more about the different people from your faction or different animals from your faction. The rules themselves are written really well. They're easy to understand. You go through, explains how to set up, explains the rules. There's also rules included where you can play it solo with the auto mountie, where you can play by yourself against someone else. And it comes with an achievement sheet where you can write down the different achievements when people won different ones. And we've photocopied this. We have our own achievement sheet because my kids want to do that sort of thing. The game itself comes with a fantastic plastic insert where everything can go. And in fact, there's room for more. And you can see all the different cards down here. Here are the cards that we weren't using in this one. These are used when you're playing the automated mode, when you're playing by yourself. But everything fits very nicely in here, and it comes with a plastic lid. The whole thing is absolutely gorgeous production. Okay, let me clarify something here. This game is phenomenal. Now, I have the ability to play a lot of kids games, and I play more kids games than most people have. I've played probably close to 500 of them over my period of reviewing games. And this is easily in the top 5 of all these that I've ever played. This game is unbelievably great. Me and my kids had such a fantastic time doing so. The rules themselves seem at first a bit complex because there are things in this game you haven't seen, but they make such sense thematically. Give goods to somebody else, your friendship goes up. Fight somebody with a pie fight, which is a fun, silly thing to do, but your friendship can go down. Stealing something from someone else makes your friendship go down. However, your friendship has gone up enough that you get the point you need it. Maybe you don't care that your friendship falls down a little bit. And these are interesting things to talk about, but they're also interesting mechanisms. Kids are learning, hey, I'm going to move, pick up this stuff from one spot and move it to another. So simple, a pick-up and delivery game. Hey, I'm going to learn to roll dice and put resources on the board to put them close to me. but maybe give some to my opponent so I can move my friendship up. I'm going to upgrade this space and make it a better space that allows me to do better things. What this game does to me, and which this just is mind-blowing to me, it takes fairly complex things that we see in games all the time, and things that I take for granted, right? But puts it in a realm of teaching with kids. Now, I don't know that this is a game for very young kids, but I played this game with third, fourth, and fifth grader, and they instantly got it, and instantly tried different strategies and tried various things, and it just worked so well. The game itself is gorgeous, right? Amazing components, but it also plays very smoothly. I would say the length of the game is 45 minutes, and it's a game that you as a parent aren't going to sit there and be bored to death either. You can play your hardest, really, and so there's luck in the game as to where the resources might show up, or what what magic cards you get, or things, but really strategy is much higher than luck, and the choices and tactical decisions that this game allows you to make just is fantastic. So, this game started out in my mind as a joke, really, right? When it showed up, I was like, oh, they put the joke to life. But it's not a joke. It is one of the best entries into gaming, and it's a challenging game to the kids. It's going to make them think, but not so much in a way that they're discouraged and will turn away. I really think this is the opportunity to be like one of the ultimate games to say, hey, you are now transitioning to games that have so many fun things. And even if you don't want to do this transition, this game itself is full bore, full fun. Now, I know I'm going to be asked this, so I'm going to respond to this but what if I don't want to play with kids? What if I want to play with adults, a bunch of adults? Well, sure, the game will work in that fashion, as any game will work in that fashion, and it's not necessarily a kids game. It's definitely kid-themed, though, right? I mean, sure, there's always going to be people who argue and say, no, this is a theme that's fun for adults to play, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't sit around and watch cartoons with the little animals running around, and so playing a game with the little animals running around is not necessarily something I would do with adults, but it's very possible. The game is fine. It's poised as a gateway game. I just think that I would probably want to play games with a more adult theme, but when I play with families or I play with other people in mixed settings, the theme doesn't bother me at all. It is a good theme. It teaches friendship and values and things like that. And honestly, the My Little Pony theme would have worked had that been able to be put onto this game. So I'm just extremely impressed by this. Instant add to my collection, instant game that I'm sure that we're going to play. I tell you folks, in 2018, I've seen some of the most amazing kids games I've ever seen, but this has the potential to be number one of all of those. It certainly is absolutely fantastic. And I don't mean to do the game a disservice here by saying kids game, because that's not the right term for it. It's a family game, but a family game that offers a lot going on underneath the hood here and potential to be so much more. Very, very impressed. My Little Scythe. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.